We need to confront on the other side an obscenity with which we live every day. This is a world in which 1 billion people are living on $1 a day, in which 8 million adults cannot read and write, 115 million children don't go to school. 1 in 3 women today in this day and age, suffer violence. 500,000 women die every year of maternal mortality. Pregnancy is not a disease. They die because of lack of health care, because of discrimination, because of maltreatment or malnutrition in their own communities. So when we talk about dignity, yes, there's individual strength in people, but collectively, what are we doing?
We can only have dignity to the extent that we recognize the dignity of others. So the 18-year-old woman in Africa shouldn't have died, nor should have the 3 million other people that die every year of AIDS die, or the 3 million from malaria, or the 50,000 that die every day for easily preventable causes. If 50,000 people would die any day in Switzerland, it's certain, absolutely certain, that there would be an immediate reaction to act. If this would happen on a second day in row, the whole world would unite. But the fact that we are not doing anything or much anything for the developing countries means that actually we don't give the same human value to these lives. So there's a dignity gap.
The problem of the dignity is not to give money to the poor people and don't try them like a stupid human being. I think the first things of the dignity is to never give money, sino que give opportunity, or better share our opportunity that we stole them to give back to them. And this is the way, I think, to build dignity in the world. If we are thinking that the other human being is less than me, or if I believe that I am a winner, and this is the reason why they invite us to Davos, where make a big mistake. We are no better than the poor people. We have had more opportunity than them, or we have taken their opportunity for us, and we give back the opportunity. And this is the way to recognize to them his dignity.
As we work on ensuring that we lift these barriers, the barriers that prevent other human beings from realizing their full potential as dignified human beings, our own education in our countries, in developed countries, in wealthy countries, the education of those who have opportunities needs to be changed so that we, in fact, identify and evaluate ourselves to the extent by which we recognize the subjective inherent dignity and right of others to exercise and control their own selves and environment.
I see dignity as a sort of bridge to hope. What I mean by that is in a world where nobody seems to agree about anything, where race divides, where politics divide, where religion, oddly enough, seems to, unfortunately these days, divide. Dignity seems to be a thing that everybody in the world can agree on. It seems to be the one thing that everybody wants. And I think it can become and evolve into sort of a new way of, a new form of spirituality for folks who are on the on-ramp of life, but not necessarily on the freeway of life.
Microfinance is just not a small-scale movement. In fact, it is transforming societies. There are 100 million clients in the world, 70% of whom are women, who are using small loans starting at $100 and using those loans to improve not only the economic standing of their family, but improving the choices that their families face in terms of nutrition, in terms of education, in terms of healthcare, in terms of simply building new homes for themselves.
A young man my age, And I remember thinking when I met him that if I lived here, this would be my friend. At least, I would try to become his friend. He told me that he was HIV positive. His wife was HIV positive. He had 3 children and a sister who was disabled, physically challenged. And he told me that, life with me is very hard. I don't know what's going to happen to my children. I don't know what's going to happen to my sister. I'm very concerned. I know that my wife and I will not be here for long. And then he looked me in the eye and he said, please do everything you can to help people like me. So I just wanted to convey that message to each and every one of you today. It's something he didn't only say to me, but I think he said this to each and every one of us. So when you leave this room today to go out to increase the dignity capital of other people, I think a good way of starting is thinking that dignity should be the basic guiding principle for all actions. Thank you.
We talk about eradicating poverty. We talk about education. You know what I learned 5 years ago? That disability isn't even a Millennium Development Goal. There are 700 million people with disability in this world. And we don't talk about it. It's the most invisible conversation of all. And we can't eradicate poverty unless we look at the poorest of poor. And I'm like, how did I get to being, 32 years old and not know this? And I have a disability. Dignity is about making yourself visible, about contributing and feeling that you can take part and that you're in control of everything that you do. And we all want that. We want that for our children as well.
I think we are all giants in our ability to affect the world. But we're sleeping giants. We have so much power. Individually, each and every one of us, but also as a community, we have so much power to make a difference. But we're asleep. And so my prayer this morning, my invitation, is to join me to try and wake up and make a difference.
If these tears of love and compassion flow from the leadership, from the eyes of the leaders on this planet, it will obliterate the lines of distinction between humanity, and true dignity will happen. In this effort, at one time I aimed at the political leadership. Then I found the economic leaders are easier to work with, more willing to change. And I think it's very important. The forum has done a fantastic job of putting these people together. If we can systematically look at how we can bring this experience in people, that truly the leadership in this planet has some tears of love and compassion flowing and washing their cheeks, which will definitely obliterate the distinctions on the planet. Thank you very much.
When you come to think about the great issues of the day, and we have the privilege when we put together the program to do that, so much of it comes across, in my view, as abstract. The great global challenges, the global risks. We talk the language of the policymaker, we talk the language of the business person, the expert. We say we're committed to improving the state of the world. What here you feel is we should be committed to improving the state of each person in the world. And that would shift the nature and form and structure of what we do. So I would ask you to consider this session perhaps as the first session of the next annual meeting. To take away what you felt, reflect on it, and use it as one of the motors for the things that you do in the coming year.